Hello everyone, hi and welcome to the channel of Wall Street Mojo. To know more about this video, marginal costing versus absorption costing, watch the video till the end, and also if you're new to this channel, then you can subscribe us by clicking the bell icon that's given below. Welcome everyone and welcome to today's topic, that is accounting. It's basically an accounting topic, a part of the income statement, and what we are trying to evaluate here is the marginal costing versus the absorption costing. Well, we'll try and understand the difference between them, and let's begin. So, what is the difference? See, the marginal versus the absorption costing are the two different approach. Basically, they are used for the valuation of inventories. As simple as that. Where in case of the marginal costing, only the variable cost incurred by the company are applied to the inventory, whereas in case of the absorption costing, both variable cost and the fixed cost incurred by the company are applied to the inventory. So if you want to understand how these cost of the finished products or inventory are calculated, you would need to give a special attention to marginal costing and absorption costing. See, when we talk about the marginal costing, it is basically the method of the variable costing, and that is considered as the product cost, and the fixed cost, which is considered as the cost of the period. If we talk about the absorption costing, then on the other hand, the absorption costing is a method that considers both the fixed cost and the variable cost as a product cost. So these costing methods is important particularly for reporting purposes. So for reporting purpose includes both financial reporting and tax reporting. Now there's a debate on which costing method is better, marginal or absorption. As simple as that. Let's try and understand this with the help of the infographics. So let's understand marginal costing versus absorption costing. Marginal costing, it is a technique that it assumes only the variable costs as a product cost. It considers only the VC as a product cost. But here, the absorption costing is a technique that is assumed that both fixed and variable cost are a part of the product cost. So fixed and variable, and this is only variable. What it is all about? Well, here the VC is considered as the product cost and fixed cost is assumed as the cost for the period. So it is usually ignored. But in case of the absorption costing, both of them, the fixed cost and the variable cost, they are considered in the production or product cost. What are the nature of the overheads? Fixed cost and variable cost. And here various side of overheads also come into picture. In case of the absorption costing, they are quite different. Production, distribution, selling, and admin cost. How profit is calculated? When we talk about marginal and absorption costing, here marginal costing is calculated by profit to volume ratio, that is PV ratio, one of the very important ratio here. And here it is considered with the help of the product cost. That is why profit gets reduced. Here product cost comes in picture. Here more on the variable cost. So profit volume ratio is taken into account. What exactly it determines? Marginal costing, it determines the cost of the next unit. And here the cost of the each unit. Each and next is what is the difference between margin and absorption. What are the opening and the closing stocks? Since the emphasis is in the next unit, change in opening and closing doesn't affect the cost per unit because we are talking about the next one. Here emphasis is on each unit, so the change in opening and closing stock affects the cost per unit. When you talk about further, the opening closing doesn't come into picture. When you're talking about each, then in case opening and closing stock affects the cost per unit. What are the most important aspect? Contribution. What is contribution? Your sales minus COGS. And here, net profit. The purpose. Marginal costing. It is basically to show forth the emphasis on the contribution in the product cost. That is your sales minus COGS. Since it's net profit, to show forth the accuracy and the fair treatment of the product cost. How exactly it is presented? It is presented by outlining the total contribution. As you can see, contribution is flowing all the way through. And here absorption costing, it is presented in the most conventional way for the purpose of financial and tax reporting. This is more like a business decision. When marginal costing is considered by the entrepreneurs for taking the business decisions, When we talk about absorption costing, it is more on the reg part, the regulatory part, when you're reporting for the purpose of finance and for the tax reporting. That is the difference between the marginal and the absorption costing. Well, let's understand some of the key differences. I'll write marginal costing and absorption costing. Marginal costing does not take fixed costs into account under product costing or inventory valuation. Okay. Absorption costing, on the other hand, takes into account the fixed cost and the variable cost. Second, marginal costing can be classified as the fixed cost and the variable cost. Absorption costing can be classified as the production, distribution, and selling and admin. Third, the purpose of the marginal costing is to show for the contribution of the product cost, and the purpose of the absorption costing is to show the fair and the accurate picture of profit. Fourth, marginal costing can be expressed as the contribution per unit, and absorption costing can be expressed as the net profit per unit. Marginal costing, is a method. Marginal costing is a method of the costing, and it isn't conventional way of looking at costing methods. While absorption costing, on the other hand, is used for financial and tax reporting purpose, and it is used in the most convenient method of costing. So, conclusion is that from the discussion above, it is clear that the absorption costing is better method than the margin costing in usefulness. But if a company has just started out and for the purpose is just see the contribution per unit and the break-even point, marginal costing may be very useful for the startups. Otherwise, it is better to use absorption costing because it helps the firm to look at their cost comprehensively, and they will be able to strategize around the cost effectivity. Well, that's it for this particular topic. If you have learned and enjoyed watching this video, please like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our channel for all the latest updates. Thank you everyone once again for joining the session.